Welcome in everybody to another lesson. Today we are going to talk about variables and equations. So an equation is simply either an expression with numbers or variables or a combination of both that have an equal sign. That's an equation. So here we have the equation c plus 12 equals 30. Now one of these numbers, 8, 16, or 18, is the solution to this equation. We have to figure out which one of these three numbers is the solution to the equation. So what you're going to do, to go one variable at a time, substitute that in for c and figure out which one works. So let's start with 8. Let's put 8 in for c, so you'll have 8 plus 12. You'll set that equal to 30. Well, 8 plus 12 is 20. 20 clearly does not equal 30. So we can cross out 8. We know 8 doesn't work. So let's do 16 next. Let's take a look at 16. How about 16 plus 12? We'll set that equal to 30. Well, what's 16 plus 12? That's 28. We know 28 clearly doesn't equal 30. We'll cross out 16. How about 18? Because it's possible we could have no solution in this list, but let's do 18 plus 12, set that equal to 30. Well, 18 plus 12 is 30. Well, we know 30 equals 30, that checks out. So it looks like C does in fact equal 18. That would be your solution. So it's a matter of picking from the values they give you, substituting it in for the variable, and figuring out which one makes the left side equal to the right hand side. C equals 18. So that one was pretty simple. What next one should I do? Alright, let's see. We have 23 minus m equals 14. For possible solutions, we have 7, 9, and 11. Alright? So we have the equation 23 minus m equals 14. You have the possible solutions of 7, 9, or 11. So we're going to start again. We'll substitute values in for m. We'll substitute 7. So let's see, 23 minus 7, because we're substituting 7 in for m, we'll set that equal to 14. Well, just 23 minus 7? That'd be 16. We clearly could tell that 16 does not equal 14. So it's definitely not going to be 7. We definitely could tell you that. It's not 7. How about 23 minus 9? We'll put 9 in for m. Does 23 minus 9 equal 14? Well, 23 minus 9 is 14. 14 does equal 14, so yes. M is equal to 9. Because we got a true statement. We don't even have to bother with 11. We can forget about 11. We found our solution with m equals 9. So that's good enough there. Let's do one more equation like this. Let's see here. How about 60 over p is equal to 4. 60 over p equals 4. Your possible solutions are 15, 16, and 17. Okay? So we got the equation 60 over p equals 4. Your possible solutions are 15, 16, or 17. So we'll start by substituting one of these values in for p. Well, let's start with 15. Let's take 60 over 15 because we're substituting 15 in place for p. We'll set that equal to 4. So what is 60 divided by 15? Well, that is 4. 4 does in fact equal 4, so that checks out, which means P is equal to 15. We found our value with the first number. We don't even have to bother with the other two. So basically, in these types of equations, if they give you a list of possible solutions, once you find your solution, you don't have to bother with the others. You just keep going. You start in order with the smallest, with the first number they gave you, and keep going with the other numbers until you find the solution. But once you find it, you don't have to go any further. So we happen to have found it. So pretty simple to solve equations like that if you have a list of possible solutions. But we're also here today to get into a little bit of some word problems again with it. So let's see here. We have the sum of 7 and a number is 23. So we're going to also take a look at how to form equations from words. That's a very critical skill for being able to solve word problems and real life applied problems. So this tells you the sum of 7 and a number is 23. Well, we don't know that number, whatever the number is. We need to pick a variable for the number, because remember, a variable represents an unknown, which is the number. So pick an appropriate variable. Just remember, don't pick E or I because they have numerical value, but you can pick any other variable. In this case, I'm going to say let n equal the number. N will be that number. So now we've defined a variable, which is the first thing you do with these. N's the number. So it says the sum of 7 and a number. So the sum, that means plus. It's an addition problem. The sum of 7 and a number, so 7 plus n, 7 and that number, is, which means equal to. Whenever you see is, that means it's equal to, and then 23. So what you have here is the sum of 7 and a number, so 7 plus n is, which means equal to 23. Now all we got to do is solve it. If we remember a review from basic math on how to solve these equations, you want to get n by itself. So we need to subtract 7 from the left side, but what you do to the left side, you also got to do to the right side. So you'll have 7 plus n minus 7 is equal to 23 minus 7. So if you take 7 away from the left side, you'll have n by itself. What is 23 minus 7? That's 16. So it turns out the number n, that's 16. That's how you find the value. And I got more problems like it. There's more like it. What do we got next here? Let's see. What do they want to do next? All right. The sum of 9 and a number is 36. Okay. So we have the sum of 9 and a number is 36, right? First thing you want to do whenever you have problems like this, once again, always define your variable. The number, we don't know what that number is. We have to define that unknown with a variable. So pick an appropriate letter to represent your variable. Let's do x this time. We'll let x equal the number, good old classic algebra, let x equal the number. So what this problem is saying now is the sum. So this tells you it's going to be an addition problem. So the sum of 9 and a number, the sum, so that's 9 plus x, is, which means equal to 36. So the sum of 9 and a number, so that's 9 plus x, is, which means equal to 36. Now, of course, we want to solve for that number x. We want to get x by itself. In order to do that, we got to subtract 9 from both sides. So you'll have 9 plus x minus 9, but we also got to do it to the right side, because what you do to one side, you have to do to the other. If you subtract 9 from the left side, you'll just get x by itself. What is 36 minus 9? Well, that's 27. Pretty simple. So that number that we're looking for is 27. X equals 27. All right. A little bit different word problems here. So let's see. What do we got next? All right. A number minus 10 is 27. So we have a number minus 10 is 27. So again, first thing, like you would do with any problem like this, with any type of word problem like this, is define your variable, because we don't know what that number is. So let's define a variable. Let's use r this time. We'll let r equal the number. I'm just trying to illustrate you can use a multitude of letters for variables, but I don't want to use n for every single one because it just gets boring that way. So we have r being the number. We've defined our variable. So now we have a number minus 10. That should be a dead giveaway. That number minus 10 is, which means equal to 27. So we have a number minus 10 is equal to 27. Well, what we have to do here, we want to get r, that number, by itself. Well, we have minus 10 on the left side. In order to get rid of that minus 10, we need to add 10. So we'll have r minus 10 plus 10, but we're going to have to add 10 to the right side, because what you do to one side, you got to do to the other. So we'll have 27 plus 10 on the right hand side. Well, when you have r minus 10 plus 10, you just get r by itself. 27 plus 10, well, that's going to be 37. Because 27 plus 10 is 37. So that number is 37. Alright. I got 3 more problems like this. I'm really heavily focusing on the word ones because I feel those are the most important. Especially for understanding. Alright. The difference between a number and 12 is 54. Alright, so this one here, the difference between a number and 12 is 54. So once again, what you want to do is define your variable first. The difference between a number. Well, what is that number? That's the unknown. We don't know what that number is. So let's use q this time. We will let q equal the number. Okay? Let's let q equal that number. Now, the difference between a number and 12 is 54. Difference means subtraction. Whenever you take the difference of two numbers, that's a subtraction problem. So the difference between a number, so you'll have the difference between the number and 12, so that's that number minus 12 is, which means equal to 54. So the difference between a number and 12, so that's that number minus 12, is 54. So of course we want to get q by itself. We have minus 12. You're going to have to do plus 12 to cancel out the minus 12 and get q by itself. So we'll have q minus 12 plus 12 is equal to, now we have to add 12 to the right hand side since we did it to the left side. We'll have 54 plus 12. So we have minus 12 and plus 12. That leaves q by itself. We'll have q, what is 54 plus 12? That's 66. So the number we were looking for, q, is 66. So the difference between a number and 12 is 54. So whenever you see the difference, that is a subtraction problem. Alright, got two more problems here. Alright, let's see. 24 is the product of 8 and a number. Alright, so we got this expression here. 24 is the product of 8 and a number. Well, when we see a number, of course, we got to define our variable. What is that number? We don't really know right now. So, personally, for picking variables, I wouldn't use O either, just for the fact that it looks like 0. So I wouldn't pick O, but let's let y. We'll let y equal the number. Because why not? Alright. So 24 is. So you have 24 is, which means equal to. 24 is equal to, is the product of 8 and a number. Whenever you see product, that means multiplication. So the product of 8 and a number means simply 8 times that number, which also means that 24 is just equal to 8y, because 8 times y is just 8y. And if it helps you, you could switch sides between the equal sign. You could make 8y equal to 24. If you have on the left and right side of the equal sign, you could just switch places to make it easier. They would still make the equations equal. It really doesn't matter. I just moved it around because I like to have my variable on the left hand side. If you like to leave it on the right hand side, you're welcome to do that. But we have 8y equal to 24. Well, the goal, of course, get y by itself. What do we have to do in order to do that? We have to divide both sides by 8. So let's go ahead and do that here. Well, the 8's will cancel out on the left. You'll have y is equal to, what is 24 divided by 8? That's 3. So that number we were looking for is 3. Y equals 3. So really not that bad. And I do have one more, then the lesson will be over for today. Alright, what do we got here? What are they throwing at us? Oh, this should be real easy. A number times 3 is 45. Alright, it don't get much easier than this, truthfully. Because you have a number times 3 is 45. Of course, first define your variable. A number, we don't know that number yet, so... why don't we let t equal the number? We'll have t equal the number. I like that idea. So we have a number times 3. So that number times 3 means equal to 45. Well, t times 3, that's just 3t. That would still be equal to 45. Well, now, of course, the goal is we want to get t by itself, so we have to divide both sides by 3. Let's go ahead and do that here. Well, notice on the left side, the 3's will cancel out. You'll be left with t. Well, that'll be equal to, what is 45 divided by 3? That'd be 15. So the answer we would get for t, the number that we're looking for, is 15. So 15 times 3 is 45. So really, with these word ones, it's just a matter of understanding what they're asking for. Remember, the word difference is referring to subtraction. The word product means multiplication. And if you see the word is, that means equal. So those are big key takeaways for understanding wording for math problems. How to take a sentence and put it into a mathematical equation. So the very next lesson is going to be on ordered pairs and relations. We'll get into a bit of plotting points on the Cartesian plane, on the plane where it's in 2 dimensions. So stay tuned for that. Hope everyone has a good night. Take care.